Greetings, Starseeds and Lightworkers. Ava here today. And today we have a question around higher self and just kind of the layers of that and what that looks like on a multidimensional reality. What is it? How do we relate with it? How do we connect to it? What is it? So we're going to go out and put you in touch with the Pleiadians, DiYeena. And for those of you who are new here, welcome to the channel. Here we go. This is DiYeena of the Pleiadian Family, and we are so grateful here to be with you here in the love. You see, we love to bring the love. And you are asking here today about the higher self. This is such a beautiful question. We will say the higher self, you see, is simply another version of the you. You see, is simply another version of the you. And the you is really all-encompassing. All-encompassing, you see. So it contains all. It contains all the aspects of this particular fractal consciousness. Isn't that fascinating, you see? So it contains the entirety of it. The entirety, or you could also look at it like a blueprint. You see, it is the most complete version of the fractal. So you have all of these little pieces of yourself running around in all these different dimensions, having a ball, playing out all these different ideas and fantasies and some nightmares and some daydreams and everything in between, you see. And so you have all of these pieces of yourself, and sometimes you get hints of this, like you say, like deja vu, you see, or past lives, regression, things like this, you see, or even premonition. You see, all of these are you tuning into the you. You tuning into the you. This is you becoming more aware of these higher dimensional pieces of yourself. And we won't even say higher because sometimes you are playing in other worlds. You see, it's simply parallel realities that are creating this fuller aspect of yourself. You see, so it is really when you are calling in your quote-unquote higher self, you are calling in the all of the pieces into one consciousness. You see, you're calling in the full consciousness of all of the pieces that are all over the place. You see, so instead of just having the perspective of this one little piece of yourself, playing out this one little earth role in the 3 dimensions, you are accessing all of the dimensions, you see, and all of the ways that this particular fractal is playing, you see. And so you get a much, much more enriching perspective of yourself. You see, and it is the part of yourself that is, in a sense, you could say all-knowing because it is conscious. It has its own life to it. You see, there is aliveness to it, and there is a life to it, and it has a way of breathing itself. And so it is really about it's creating a way for you to connect with it. With it is meaning that it's not separate from yourself. You see, so it is you. So it is the way that you connect then is simply by acknowledging that this is real and that this is the way that you are. You see, so instead of relating to this 3rd dimensional form as the be all and all, like you like to say here, you relate to it in a more appropriate way, in the more way that it is, you see, in the grander scale of the dimensions. And the reality of the grandioseness of reality, you see. And when you begin to expand yourself, to begin to recognize that you are much bigger than you even realize, you see, and some of you are much more aware of some of these other places, but even that, you see, has a limitation to it. You see, so wherever you are at in your consciousness of growth, of unraveling the you, of what you think the you is, you see, keep going. Because there's always more or always less, depending on which direction you like to go. Some of you can think on that one for a moment, you see. You see, so we can play either way, you see. You can expand the idea or the version of you to begin to include more and more and more and more and more. Or you can also get there by removing the you. The versions of the you that you think you are by taking off the layer till there is nothing, you see. Both options get you to the same place, you see, because you are the all and the nothing all at the same time. So you are just simply exploring the different ends of the polarity of what it takes to create. the something and the nothing, the positive and the negative, the masculine and the feminine. However you like to play in the words of the world of the words, you are playing with frequencies. And on the particular role of Earth, you are playing with particular frequencies that create, that cause creation to happen, that cause form to come into existence on this particular dimension. So this is the role of the third D, is to play in polarity and see what happens when you alchemize polarities. And this is the beauty of it, you see, and this is the power of it. And this is why you see see things happening in the world that are distorting the power of the polarity. You see it all around you, you see. But do not forget the power of the polarity and the importance in its process of alchemy, you see, because it contains the codes and the secrets of the entirety of the universe. So we say that, you see. So coming back to then the higher self and how this all plays together, you see, it is containing the entirety of the polarity. So you can always, you say, people like to call on their higher self, or access their higher self, or they have a relationship with their higher self, or they're curious about their higher self. You see, it is really just you. You see, it is the part of you that did not forget. So it is all the parts of you that have not yet forgotten what the heck you are doing here. You see, so it's very helpful. It's very practical. You see, we say, like to say all this woo around the higher self, and it's such a woo topic. No, it is quite practical, because you humans forget a lot of the time. And we say this with so much love, you see, because you come and you forget. It's like you get knocked on the head, or you get run over by the trains, or whatever is happening in your world. You see, but something happens and you just forget what you come for and who you are. And so when you are tuning into the greater frequency of you, or you can say, when I call upon my higher self, you see, whatever you want to do, pulling out the cards and angel cards and all the things you do to connect with the higher self. You see, this is very, very simple. It is simply just being more aware of yourself. You see, and allowing that to help you to navigate this particular role in your reality in this world of the earth, you see. Because you did come with a mission, you did come with a purpose, and you did come with an intention. Some of you remember, some of you forget, some of you a little bit fuzzy, you see. Maybe you remember parts, but you don't remember the whole of it, all of it. So we have to come together a little bit sometimes to help each other remember. And your higher self is here for that, you see. Because it's just you. You see, so you don't even have to use this word higher self. You see, it is just simply the parts of you that have not forgotten. So you simply just allow it to be, and allow yourself to perceive yourself in this way, in this more complete way, where you are actually more of the part of your full dimensions and all the fractal parts, you see. And when you relate to yourself as more complete in this way, meaning you are considering all the other pieces of yourself that are playing in all the other universes and all the other places, you are considering the parts of the consciousness that are having other experiences. And you are allowing those pieces of the consciousness to come together in one powerful moment of consciousness, where you are bringing your wholeness together for the importance of clarity for moving in the world, you see, whatever world that is. So you are able to make decisions then from a place of wholeness. And so this is simply just bringing in the power of your form, the power of you, the power of creation, the creator that you are, the polarity, the fullness of the spectrum, the fullness of the consciousness. It's all the same words, you see, however you like to put it together. It is simply coming together in wholeness. You see, in the power of the wholeness, the power of the love. So this is what do we mean by the higher self, and what it can do for you when you are working with it in the right way. It no longer even carries that much of a meaning, you see, in the world of higher in self, you see, because it's not so far, it doesn't feel so far apart. Doesn't feel so distant from yourself. You see, we say higher self when we are so concentrated in the third dimension that it feels so far away to think about our completeness. It feels so far away to feel about, to think about our fullness of our fractal, our fullness of this one little consciousness spectrum to be in completion. You see, to have the fullness of all the levels we're so far from it. We're just playing out this one little spectrum of the third dimension. And so it feels like, oh, this higher self is oh so holier than thou, and they're just so smart. My higher self is so smart and so beautiful and so knowledgeable, and they never get it wrong, you see. I wish I could do that more. How come I cannot? I wish I could access my higher self all the time. Or, we have all these thoughts, you see. It is not a separate being. It is not something to give this much credit to. It is something to integrate more into the relationship with your own true self. Because that is what it is. So instead of putting your higher self up on a pedestal, realize this is who you are in terms of your fractal, in terms of the place of consciousness you've chosen to reside in this particular moment to play out. Because again, the truth of who you are is even bigger than the fractal, you see. But we play in the fractal right now. This is what we're talking about when we talk about higher self. It's a particular fractal of consciousness. But it is the whole fractal. You in the third dimension of Earth, you're playing out the part of the fractal. So when you've talked about higher self, we take in all the other pieces and we put them together in one big puzzle that is complete. And you say, okay, this is how we relate to self, you see. So that is the relationship that you begin to form with yourself, is thinking about it more in wholeness, you see. So you think about your whole self, or you think about your complete self, or you think about you as a powerful creator. You see, when you begin to work with yourself in this way, it is more empowering because you are really claiming all of you. When you were talking about this relationship of the separate little third dimensional you and this higher self, there's a separation. You see, you're relating to it separately, like it is something outside of yourself that has more power than this part of yourself. And it is not the way that it necessarily works, you see. It is about the integration and the completion and the recognition of all of the pieces that are coming together to create that reality, you see. So that is what we leave you with that higher self question. You see, we hope this is helpful for you to just think about what it really means to be in the expansion of the higher. You see, because it is not in the way that you like to put it, so much like there are angels in the clouds or this higher self up in this other realm, you see. Even though some of this is how you visualize it, you see, because there is some truth to it because you are in so many different layers of reality. The completion of yourself is so brilliant, and it is brilliant in all of the places where you are playing. So you can bring the fullness of your consciousness to each reality that you are in play with. Every parallel reality that you are in, you have the conscious choice to bring the entirety of your quote-unquote higher self, otherwise your complete self, into that perspective. And that is when you are in your full power. So that is your homework, you see, is to work more on feeling yourself, all the pieces coming together in this reality, in this form, and even visualizing that happening in all the other parallel realities that you are in play with. You see, and when you can do that, you begin to feel your power coming into your form, into your consciousness, and that is when you are really bringing in all of yourself to then do the thing. Whatever the thing is, you see. Maybe it is no thing. Maybe it is something, you see. Either way, it is the thing. We love you all so very much. And blessings to you from the Pleiadians. I trust that message was exactly what you needed to hear today. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And we can't wait to see you next time. I love you guys all so much. And thanks for being a part of this community. Bye for now.